What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grant. You're watching Sub Urban Nerd. This channel I give my reviews on today's nerd news. And now that we have the price for the PlayStation 5 and the price for the PlayStation or the Xbox Series S and X, we got some decisions to make, right? And I could go and tell you about the different teraflops, with the Xbox Series X opposed to the Xbox Series S, PlayStation 5, and I'm just gonna break it down as far as the everyday regular guy that just wants to get the next gen game or console to play the games, right? Now, as far as the Xbox X and then the Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, yes, it is more powerful than the PlayStation 5. Yes. It the SSD proprietary system, the it's basically faster on a PlayStation, which is why the PlayStation, they boast about how there's not going to be any loading times, and they showed it off with Ratchet and Clank how it went in between different worlds. There was no loading, so it's like all the loading screens that you're used to, like say with the latest game, Marvel Avengers, right? There's crazy amount of loading in that. In the Xbox or a PlayStation 5, you don't have to worry about that. Now the main thing is the Xbox Series S versus the Xbox Series X. And the problem is, people aren't sure. Because, first of all, the name's confusing. You got the Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox One S, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X. But they got rid of the Xbox One X, right? They only have the Xbox One S because that was the one that was selling the most, and so it's a waste of money. Plus, Xbox One X is closer to the Xbox Series S. And as far as that goes, you've got, like I said, I didn't want to go into a whole RAM or whatever, but the Xbox Series S, one major flaw is that it doesn't play or the replay games as far as 4K. It does 1440p, right? That's what it does. It doesn't do 4K or 8K like the Xbox Series X. But the Xbox One X could upscale graphics of older games, like backwards compatible, upscale them to 4K, but the Xbox Series S can't do that. Now, some people might not even care. Like most people, I don't really care. As long as the game looks a little bit better. Now, what they're saying is it might not look as good as what the Xbox One X does, but it'll run it a little bit smoother. So where there might be hiccups on the Xbox One X, it'll be smoothed out. But graphic-wise, it's still gonna look pretty good. Now, as far as the memory, that's the one major thing that I think is a major flaw in the Xbox Series S, because the Xbox Series X, of course, you got the teraflops, you got the terabytes, right? It's got a huge memory, but the Xbox Series S only has 512 gigs, right? That is nothing. That is nothing as of right now. Now gen, it's nothing. Like the PlayStation 4, this I think is 1 terabyte. This 1 terabyte. It's like 2,000 gigs. 512. Like games nowadays, like Modern Warfare, will be up to like 100 plus gigs. Games now are like 100 plus gigs, which is why the memory is like the amount of memory is crazy. It's ludicrous. And the thing is, Xbox, they'll sell you that extra memory, the proprietary memory, but it's gonna run you about $219. $219, almost as much as what you would pay for the Xbox Series S. Now that is crazy. Like, I don't understand how they just put that price out, but people are gonna be willing to buy it. Now, don't think that that's a negative as far as don't buy the console because you're gonna run out of space for your games and you're gonna have to buy it, spend this $219. That isn't it. That's just something that you might have to do if you want to have these games on download onto your console. But that's where the Game Pass comes in. The Xbox Cloud, the Xbox Game Cloud, the thing that they're pushing so hard at you, the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, right? It's streaming. It's a streaming service, so therefore you have no reason to save a whole game onto your console. And that's where this thing comes in handy, because at $299, you can play the next gen games, though it won't be as far as the highest graphics, with the Xbox Series X, but at 1440p, running it up to 120 hertz, like, I'm sorry, it's gonna look nice. The 120 frames per second, it's going to run real smooth, real nice, and it's gonna look great. As far as the PlayStation, they've got their whole 3D audio system, the dual sense controller, which is it's supposed to immerse you into the game. So like you'll be able to feel the tension when you're pulling on the triggers, as far as if you're pulling a bow, or like when you're driving, like if you're skiing, like anything you're doing, like the controller, if you're going through water, if you're going through sand, if the wind's hitting you, it's gonna feel like the wind's hitting you on the controller, you know? And then the headset, I'm definitely gonna want to get the headset, especially with this 3D audio system that they're boasting about. It's like, it's gonna be freaking amazing, where you can hear individual drops and hear like people from all sides and angles. You'll be able to listen to whisper and know where people are coming at you just by listening to your sound. Like, that's gonna be some craziness. So the immersiveness in the how you say, looking forward as far as future of gaming, I give to PlayStation. Therefore, I still want the PlayStation. Now, do I want the discless, or do I want the one with the hard, the play the CD, right? Sorry, I'm going off the top of my head. I still want the one with the disc drive, right? And the reason being is I like to have the disc actually in my hand, because I don't understand the pricing and what we're paying for these games. Because if you're gonna get it digitally, why do you have to spend the same amount of money that you would if it was gonna be on a disc? See, that doesn't make sense, right? So think about it. If they're not spending the money to put it on a disc, have it shipped, go to the stores, you buy it, all that tax and all that stuff that comes in between, why are you gonna sell me the same thing digitally that I can't share with a friend? Like, that's the main thing. I want to play. I was gonna buy Ghost of Tsushima. My coworker said he had it. He's gonna lend it to me, so I don't have to pay for it. You can't do that when you're downloading a game. You can't lend it to someone else. The only way that works is if you have the Game Pass. And if you have the Game Pass, like, you gotta give a password to someone else and share it, pretty much like it is with the Netflix and stuff. But I don't know if that's gonna be like, because I think they might lock down on it, as far as just like with the Xbox Live and all that stuff. So I'm gonna want myself one with a disc drive, only for the most part that I want to be able to take the game and bring it anywhere and lend it to someone. And I don't see the point, if I'm gonna be spending all that same amount of money for digital, then why am I spending all that? And they're thinking about raising the price. Like, NBA 2K's already trying to be slick with it and raise the price up to $70 for the game, trying to say, oh, it's because there's so much ray tracing, all this technology. Bullshit. I've got this button, I haven't used it in a while.
Come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit. Warning, bullshit alert. That was bullshit.
That's pretty much what it is. Because I don't understand how you're gonna charge me $70 when games industry makes more money than they did ever with the whole microtransactions. What is it? What's? I'm sorry, I had to think real quick. The game, Grand Theft Auto 5, it has made in the last year what, $5 billion? $5 billion. The game came out 7 years ago, and it just recently made $5 billion last year. Why? Because microtransactions. Games, EA is like a major culprit that. Microtransactions. All the games, every game, and I know NBA 2K is gonna have microtransactions, making extra money, but yet you're saying that you're struggling so much that you're gonna have to bump the price up to 70. Now, if you weren't having microtransactions, I would say, okay, I understand. You know, we haven't gotten a price bump in a while. Last time it was from 50 to 60, now it's 60 to 70. I understand, but bro, I'm sorry. If you're making more money off the games now than you ever did, like, if you're making like 5 times, 10 times off the game after just the sales, making times with just the microtransactions, why are you coming at me? Why are you coming at me for my money? You know, that's just the whole game industry in general. But like I said, if you're thinking about the Xbox Series S, It's all you're paying that price, and for 225, or if for 299 for the S, and then 399 for the, or 499 for the X, it's gonna be kind of hard just because, like I said, they have these the now payment thing, and the payment thing is where it's gonna get people because people don't realize, yo, they're gonna have to run your credit, you're gonna have to have decent credit to have that zero interest for the 2 years, the 24 months. So if you have really good credit, most people don't need to do the whole, monthly thing. So the people that don't have good credit, they're hoping on, because if you miss those payments, they're gonna charge you like double for that month that you missed it. So on top of that, if you calculate everything, you're gonna be paying 600 by the end of the 2 years for the Xbox Series S. Though you are gonna get Ultimate Game Pass and EA Play, which is all the EA games, the sports games, Mass Effect, Titanfall, like Star Wars, all these games you're gonna be getting along with the Xbox Game Pass. So that is where the deal is, and that might be affordable for some people. $25 a month for a new console and access to all these games and not having to worry about memory. I'm sorry, but I'm a hardcore PlayStation fan. That 299 is looking pretty good. But most likely I'll still probably get the PlayStation. Why? Because I'm gonna want the new thing. So it's hard to say. If you want both consoles, what I say is get the Xbox Series S first. Just because it's gonna be it's a good deal. It's a really good deal. PlayStation, they're having issues with this chip, so I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of issues with the whole with the PlayStation in general. And God of War is coming out 2021, which is next year. I'm gonna get that special edition, limited edition console with the cold color and everything. That's what I want. That's what I got when I got the PlayStation 4 Pro. So I'm gonna want that with the PlayStation. So I can hold off. I can play these games because the PlayStation games are gonna come out for the Xbox, PlayStation 4, and they're gonna come out for the PlayStation 5. They're just gonna look nicer. But I want the console, and I don't want any bugs. Therefore, by the time they have the God of War Special Edition, I think the bugs will be out. But you can still play the Xbox games. That's what I'm saying. If you're planning on getting both, I say get the Xbox Series S for the deal. If you want the Xbox Series X, go right ahead. You can go get that. But then PlayStation, you might want to hold off because there might be issues with the console itself. Now, I'm not going to say there's not going to be any issues with the Xbox, but I haven't heard anything about it. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for listening. Any other details you guys want to hear, just comment down below. Let me hear it. And thank you. So remember to like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, I'm Wes Grant. You've been watching Suburban Nerd, and you've just been notified. Catch you guys on the next video.